In this verse we find the words Purusham Avatirnam Somayaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is everlastingly, eternally the form of the Purusha, the predominator or enjoyer, and when he appears, he never accepts anything of this material energy. The spiritual world is a manifestation of his personal internal potency, whereas the material world is a manifestation of his material or differentiated energy. The word Somayaya, by his own internal potency, indicates that whenever the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends, he comes in his own energy. He may assume the body of a human being, but that body is not material. In the Bhagavad Gita, therefore it is said, therefore it is clearly stated that only fools and rascals, mudhas, consider the body of Krishna to be the body of a common human being. The word Sevadhim means that he is the original bestower of all the necessities of life upon the living entities. In the Vedas also it is stated that he is the chief living entity and that he bestows all the desired necessities of other living entities, because he is the bestower of the necessities of all others. He is called God. The Supreme is also a living entity. He is not impersonal. As we are individual, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also individual, but he is the supreme individual. That is the difference between God and ordinary living entities. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat the translation. O Kardama, I know that the original Supreme Personality of Godhead has now appeared as an incarnation by his internal energy. He is the bestower of all desired by the living entities, and he has now assumed the body of Kapila Muni. So, Lord Brahma praised Kardama Muni's 9 daughters and he was very happy that they were given to the 9 sages for procreation, and he was appreciating Kardama Muni for choosing the right kind of husband for each of those daughters according to their own character, nature, etc. Now you say, so Kardama, I know that next is coming to his son. I know that the original Supreme Personality of Godhead has now appeared as an incarnation by his internal energy. He is a bestower of all desired by the living entities, and he has now assumed the body of Kapila Muni. So, the Lord has appeared as Kapila Muni as an incarnation, into this material world as a son of Kardama Muni. Every incarnation has a purpose to fulfill, and Kapila Muni's purpose was to bring out the knowledge of matter and spirit and the Supreme Personality of Godhead into this material world. Because the creation is just beginning. Brahma has just started his creation, and procreation is yet to begin. So the material world creation is as it is at its birth stage, it's just born. So Lord has his own plan. He comes as Kapila Muni to manifest the knowledge about creation, about the Lord, about Vaikuntha, all those things, knowledge. That also has to be there in this material world. So Kapila Muni is an incarnation of the Lord who brings forth the jnana, transcendental jnana, which is what we are also, even today, after billions and billions of years, the same jnana in parampara, which is coming in parampara, we are discussing. We are enjoying, we are taking benefit from it, and we are relishing, and all of us, our entire humanity is benefited by hearing the transcendental knowledge of Sankhya philosophy delineated by Kapila Muni. Now in this particular purport, Prabhupada is explaining again the principle of incarnation. Let us see what he says. In this verse we find the words Purusham avatirnam swamayaya. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says it is by his own maya he incarnates. So the one principle is very clear, that whatever happens for the Lord, with the Lord, for the Lord, who comes from the spiritual world into this material world, these things are carried out by Swamayaya, by his own internal energy. God is a person, and as a person he has got unlimited energies. God and his energies put together is total existence. This is the understanding of the Bhagavatam, this is the understanding of Vedanta, that existence means God and God's energy. God is a person and he has got unlimited energies. Unlimited varieties of energies he's got. One kind of energy is his internal energy, which is always serving him as a person in the spiritual world, internal energy of the Lord. And then he has got so many other differentiated energies, as Prabhupada says here, material or differentiated energy. There is also God's energy only, but differentiated, and it is distant from him. It is not serving him immediately. Just like a rich man can have immediate servants, then somewhere there may be so many people who are serving him in his estate. So those who are immediately serving him personally, they are called the internal energy of the Lord. There may be so many people serving his, everybody in his estate is taking salary from him, and they are working, they have their own life, all those things, and then they get paid for it, etc. So these are all indirect, but still they are under the shelter of the proprietor. In the same way, everything in existence is maintained by the supreme proprietor, supreme owner of everything, which is God. And how does God gets his ownership? God gets his ownership because these energies are nothing but they have come out of him. He is the author of the ownership. Just like how does the father say, you are my son? Because it's come out of him. So in this same way, the crude example, the same way, in the spiritual sense, Krishna is the supreme father of everybody, means he is a source of every energy, including Jiva Shakti, including the living entities. We are also his energy. So you need to, in order to understand God, you need to understand he is a person, which means, it's very easy for us to understand a person because we are all persons. It's not difficult. We all have also Shaktis, isn't it? This bodily Shakti we have, the intelligent Shakti we have, physical Shakti, emotional Shakti we have. We do so many things with our emotions, Shakti we have. So each of us are persons and we also have Shaktis. Why? Because we are a reflection of the Supreme Absolute Truth. The Supreme Absolute Truth is a person and he has got his Shaktis around him, personal Shaktis. Now I will have my personal Shakti, let us say my body, my this thing, these are all my immediate personal Shaktis. Or may I have some immediate persons around me, they may be my immediate internal Shakti. People who are taking direct instruction orders from me and all that. Then there will be so many people working in my estate, under my direction. Just like the citizens are all under the direction of the government's rules and regulations and everything, laws of the country. So entire creation is nothing but a person's Leela, God's Leela, with his different Shaktis. His Leela of this material world is just only 1/4 of his opulences. 3/4 of his Leelas, his opulences is in the spiritual world. When we try to sometimes speculate and analyze what is this world meant for, what is the purpose of this world, you're always assuming that what is the purpose of the world for me. Actually, for me, if you see, I cannot explain why, centered around my life, there should be billions of stars and this and that. Why such a huge sky? All these things I don't understand. Nobody can. It doesn't make sense. There is another person who is unlimited, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is a person like me, who is a person. Just like I have Shaktis, he's got unlimited Shaktis. I have personal energies, I have personal capabilities, I have personal qualities like thinking, feeling and willing. And God is someone who has got unlimited capacity to do all these things. In other words, he's an unlimited personalities in the category. That is why it said there are two kinds of living entities, Jiva and then Vishnu. And that Vishnu itself is unlimited. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam, he has got God. So when this creation has happened here, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu has empowered Brahma on the lotus to create. And once the creation has begun, again Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, as per his master plan, he has to provide spiritual knowledge within the society. And therefore, he himself takes incarnation as Kapila Muni. So Kapila Muni is the incarnation of Vishnu, who is the maintainer of all living entities, who is the provider of all living entities. Having created the material world, Using Brahma, next Vishnu, he maintains this entire universe. He maintains the life. It is designed like that. But the final touch of the Lord, he is a supreme Lord. He does not have to do anything. His estate is going on. Just like the government himself, the chief minister or the president of the country does not have to do anything directly in the prison house. The prison administration carries out everything by itself, by his agents, they are carrying out. The same way this material energy, everything is carried out by his different energies of the Lord. But at the same time, it is him, it is the power from him that everybody is maintaining. And over and above that, we know the principle of bhakti, principle of how this very same Garbhodaksha Vishnu enters the heart of every living entity, every atom, for the purpose of guiding the living entities towards his original purpose. Suhurdam sarvabhutanam hrideshya arjuna tishtati. So he is also there directly. So we as living entities, either we can dabble with the material energy, we can dabble with the immediate agents, demigods, all these things, get into a relationship with them, and all those things you can do. Or alternatively, the Lord is available directly, and those are called devotees of the Lord, who directly relate with the Lord in the heart. They pray to him, they worship him, they consider him as the master, they serve him, they pray to him, they depend upon him for existence. They constantly recognize that he is the supreme Lord, he is the maintainer, he is the creator of the entire existence. All this is constantly recognized. One who recognizes then these things and lives his life as a servant of the Lord, he is a devotee. He is a direct devotee of the Lord. And how does this devotee understand all this? It is by the mercy of Lord Kapila, it is by mercy of various incarnations, and the knowledge that is coming through them through the disciplic succession. And it is not only that there are, Kapila Muni appears, there are unlimited incarnations that come at different times, in different societies, in human society, animal society, everywhere the incarnation of the Lord comes. The purpose of the incarnation of the Lord is actually to liberate the living entities from the material world. Because meantime, what is happening to the living entities? Living entities are spiritual sparks. They are not matter. Brahma creates this material energy. Brahma doesn't create these living entities. The living entities are glands. Through the glands, they are injected into the material energy. And according to the continuation of action and reaction, new bodies are generated around it by Brahma's arrangement. And then that is how creation happens. Each living entity gets a different body, which is not his body, which is an adopted body. And the body has a beginning and an end, birth, death, old age, disease, whatever it is. Even you take Brahma's body also. May not have old age and disease, but it has a beginning and it has an end. That is the nature of all these bodies in this material world. So our Swarupa, our nature is that we are not of this world, we are not of this matter. But unfortunately, we are all trapped, our consciousness is trapped in misidentification with this matter. How can, unless Lord has designed it for you to disidentify, how will you get trapped into this? Yes, it is Lord's design. That is called external energy, Maya of the Lord. If a living entity, each living entity is rasa seeking, that is our basic instinct of every jiva, is ananda. It looks for eternity, knowledge and bliss. So, when the living entity looks for or searches for Satchit Ananda, independent of Krishna, that is where the material world is available. And that is governed by the laws of karma. The living entities are always seeking Satchidananda. The soul is seeking. Now, it is identifying, thinking I am this body. Means these bodily senses are my senses. The living entity is thinking that this material body is my body. It is very natural for the living entity to have a body. The question that differs, the problem is I am identifying with something else as my body. If I didn't have the propensity to identify with the body, if I didn't have propensity for sense engagement, then how, if the soul, I as a soul did not have, how this body will be having? The body has all these propensities because the soul has got these propensities. Even when this body is manifesting these propensities of thinking, feeling and willing, the original source of this propensity is the soul itself, is the spirit itself. That is why a dead body does not think, feel and will. Soul is not there. So it's not that the body that is thinking, feeling and willing. This body influences the living entity's thinking, feeling and willing. Just like if we have white light, then you put a green glass across it. And on the other side, when you look at it, you will see green light, right? Somebody who does not see the white light, what will he say? The green light is coming from the green glass. Is it not? So somebody who does not see the soul, he is thinking that, oh, this thinking is coming from this body. But actually what does a green light done, green glass done? It has modified or filtered the white light. Even after filtering, the green light that is coming from the green glass, through the green glass, is also the original light only, isn't it? Light has got 7 colors. Green glass cuts 6 colors and brings 1 color out. Green, is it not? Rainbow colors are there. Vibgyor, they say. 7, right? 7 colors. In a prism, you take the light through a prism, you will see it splits into 7 colors. So white light is actually 7 colors. So in that green is that green has come from, is when the green light is coming from the glass, it is nothing but it is a white light, modified. Similarly, if I think in this body something, it is nothing but my spirit soul's thinking faculty. But why my thinking faculty is thinking in a particular way? Why you are thinking in a particular way? Why he is thinking in a particular way? Why he is thinking in a particular way? It all depends upon the glass. Here is the red glass, red light will come. So the characteristic of modification is dependent upon the body. So 3 modes of material nature, this body, according to 3 modes of material nature, our thinking faculty, content of my thinking is not coming from the soul. The nature or the variety or the shade or the color of the thinking is not coming from the soul. That is why Krishna says, Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. All these variegatedness are caused by the gunas. But gunas themselves They cannot. The soul has to be there. Who is a person? Who's got all the personal faculties of thinking, feeling and willing? Who is getting influenced? Whose desiring is getting influenced? Whose doing is getting influenced? Whose thinking is getting influenced? Whose feeling is getting influenced? All the symptoms of life is belonging to the soul, but it is modified or influenced, or the content is put in by the three modes of material nature. So, now come to our thing about incarnation. So, the soul is the one who is actually, if you see the eyes are seeing. We say, it's also a statement, the eyes are seeing, because if I close the eyes I don't see, so I say the eyes are the one that are seeing. Like that you go behind finally, it is a soul that is seeing. Soul has a role in seeing. So soul has a role in all sense impressions or sense faculties. Seeing, touching, smelling, tasting, everything. There is a touch of soul in everything. The Lord incarnates into this material world. When He incarnates into this material world, one important statement that Prabhupada says here is that He never accepts anything of this material energy. He never accepts anything of this material energy. What does this mean? When I am acting as a person in this material world, all my personal characteristics are simply dependent upon the green glass, dependent upon the kind of intervening material energy, completely dependent on that. That means I am under the influence of three modes of material nature. I am also a tiny spirit. God is supreme spirit. I as a tiny spirit, when I come into this material world, I am completely, my personal faculties are all completely, my thinking, feeling, desiring, identifying, everything is completely influenced by the three modes of material nature. And I think I am this body. This is fallible living entities. I fall down into the material world. Now material world is material energy of the Lord, that is no dispute. For the Lord also it's a material energy, for us also it's a material energy. It is an energy of the Lord. It is the energy of the Lord. Matter energy, let us say. Matter has come from God. Matter energy of the Lord. And I am in a situation where I am, my seeing, touching, smelling, everything is trapped to see. Matter forms, matter smells, matter touch, stuck up. So the Lord, what He does, Somayaya, by His own Maya, by His own internal energy, He takes a form that is identical to the incarnation of the Lord. Not that when I take up this form, this material form, my spirit does not have that form. That is why I duplicate it by a subtle body. I need a subtle body in this material world. The Lord comes by His Somaya, by His own energy. He takes on the characteristics of that particular incarnation. If it is a holy name, it is a form of the vibration. If it is a deity, it is a form of the deity, the details of the deity. If it is a walking person, it is the details of the walking person like Kapila Mohini. If he incarnates as a Shakti Avashya Avatara, as a pure devotee, then he enters into the pure devotee in that particular form, in that particular characteristics. So, the Lord enters this material world not like we enter the material world, and we enter the material world and we also experience rasas in this material world. The Lord enters as by Somaya, and he also has his own rasas. Now, even though the living entity as me, I am trapped in this material world, I am thinking I am this body, but still my soul is what is seeking the rasa. Even though I identify with this body, but still I am I. The soul is still involved. We started in the beginning. If my eyes have to see somewhere along the entire range of, eyes, then nerves, then optic nerves, and you end all those things, brain, mind, and all these things, somewhere at one level, the brain, soul is also seeing. So, when I see the Lord, let's take the example, when I see the deity incarnation of the Lord, my material system is also influencing my seeing, but the actual ultimate seer is the soul. Because a dead body cannot see the deity. So, a living person sees the deity means he is seeing the form. And he is seeing the form. The soul is also involved in seeing the form. Whether he is aware or not, it's a different matter. But without the soul, there cannot be seeing. So he is seeing, but he does not have realization about his own self as a spiritual seer. He does not have. Because he does not have that awakening that I am a spiritual seer, he cannot actually spiritually see the deity also. But however, the fact remains that association is happening. His seeing the deity, his soul is having a touch encounter with God, who is the reservoir of all mercy. If we worship him in a particular form in which he comes, if we forget about worshipping, if we simply put our attention on that particular form, you are benefited. Somebody may say, thousands of people are coming and going, darshan, what is the use of this preaching, Prabhu? Nobody, they don't want to serve the Lord, they don't want to surrender to the Lord. Doesn't look like anything is really happening to them. No. Step by step, something is burning inside. Even just they walk, I see sometimes they come, probably they are tourists, they have come like this, just walking across the railing fully, not even raising the hand and paying their respects. Just going like this. So they saw and went. One benefit. If they raise their hand and do this, oh, next benefit. Then they take a little prasadam. Ah, very nice, they say. They appreciate the Lord's prasadam. Good, they get benefit. So the incarnations of the Lord are very, very merciful. Even if the attention is on the particular form, if attention is on the sound, great. Even greater is attention is there, and then you serve that form, particular form. You save Kapila Muni, you serve Kapila Muni. You serve, when he was walking on this earth, you serve him. He served Srila Prabhupada when he was walking on this earth. He served Srila Prabhupada's instructions now. All these are direct connection with God. Direct connection with God. So these are the purpose of the incarnation. To understand this, it's very important that we should not think that the Lord also is a person, I am a person, so I am entangled in this body, God is also in a particular entangled in that body. That is called Mayavadism. God when He comes in His own form, His own energy. And because we cannot see another form, through this form we see. Okay. So the spiritual world is a manifestation of His personal internal potency, where the material world is a manifestation of His material differentiated energy. The word Swamayaya, by His own internal potency, indicates that whenever the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends, He comes in His own energy. Nam Namakari Bauda Nija Sarva Shakti. That is what first happens. First all His Shaktis goes and enters the vibration that you and me chant with our material tongue. God's original name cannot be chanted with the material tongue, cannot be heard with the material ears. Into this sound the Lord enters, Lord's spiritual sound enters. To hear that spiritual sound, the hearer has to awaken his spiritual sensations, sensibilities. But he is existing in this sound because he is an incarnation. The spiritual sound is existing in this material sound. That is the meaning of saying he takes a form that resembles the deity, that resembles the incarnation. So ordinary people will think it's ordinary vibration. But we know that no. This is only a medium. This vibration that I chant is the energy of the Lord. It's a pure energy, a spiritualized energy of the Lord. This material vibration, through which I can see the identical form of the Lord, who is waiting to be seen spiritually, who is waiting to be chanted spiritually, waiting to be heard spiritually, Shuddhanama of the Lord. So, he may assume the body of a human being, but that body is not material. He may assume the body of a deity, but that body of the deity is not material. Now then another principle works here. That is a differentiated energy of the Lord, according to this category. Is it not? The metal or the stone or whatever that vibration that you create with your tongue, it's a differentiated energy of the Lord. That becomes completely spiritualized by the energies that descend, and it is no longer material. If no longer material, but it appears to have all the material limitations. Because if it doesn't appear exactly to have material limitations, you cannot access it, no? So even though there is no material thing there, it's all spiritualized. Because everything is originally coming from the Lord. Even the material energy is coming from the Lord. So the differentiated energy of the Lord, when it gets connected back to the Lord, it's no longer differentiated. It has become direct energy of the Lord, internal energy of the Lord. So therefore, in the incarnation, there is nothing material. Even the body of the Lord is not material. It says, when he comes in, he may assume the body of a human being, but that body is not material. So God does not accept, that's what it said here, that beginning, this is very important to understand, because this is what differentiates from Mayavadism. That when he appears, he never accepts anything of this material energy. In the Bhagavad Gita, therefore, it is clearly stated that only fools and rascals, Moodas, consider the body of Krishna to be the body of a common human being. The word Sevadhim means that he is the original bestower of all necessities, etc. So intelligent living entities under the direction of The spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, they learn how to relate and serve the different incarnations of the Lord to awaken their spiritual seeing, spiritual touching, spiritual doing, spiritual everything. Now we are the one who are seeing, doing, touching, smelling. But we are doing all these things in a fallen state. We are doing all these things in a haunted manner. When we start using all the faculties of spirit in associating with Supreme Spirit, everything will start changing. Imagine if the Lord had not incarnated, you have absolutely no hope of getting out of this material world. There is no window to get out of this material world. There is no hope for you to touch spirit energy at all. There is no way to charge your spirit. Now by touching the Lord, your spirit is charged. The first symptom of spirit getting charged is, it gets charged with jnana, transcendental jnana, chit shakti, the chit charging. Our soul has to get chit charged because the falling down means avidya, ignorance. Forgetting what I am and mistaking something else to be I am. That is avidya. All the problems in material world, even material miseries, everything goes away if we simply detach and look at this entire material body system as not you. It is a role play. It will come, it will go. At one point of time, I didn't have this body. At one time I will not have this body. Oh, so it's not me. It's not me. But so much I am thinking, this is me. So that misidentification, moment we think I am this, and then all our work, all our energies are all meant for whom we think we are. If I think I am this body, then all my work, all my thing, everything is meant for nurturing that I. If I think I am a social identity of this world, all the activities that I do is entirely for that rasa, for that social identity. I want to be successful, I want to be a great man in this world, I want to be, everybody has to appreciate me, get social rasa, all this name, fame, distinction, then all your work is centered around that rasa. If you identify with your true identity that I am eternal servant of Krishna, then all your rasa seeking will be towards, I want the rasa of being a servant of the Lord. I want the rasa of successfully serving my spiritual master. I want the rasa of 24 hours being only serving in the spirit of servant of Lord. I want to be in the rasa of not a single moment forgetting that I am servant of Krishna. I want that rasa. I don't want this independent rasa. Oh, okay, I am here spacing out. Who am I? I am some independent fellow. No, I got a owner. God is my owner. Krishna is my owner. I am his servant. I am noted. Krishna is observing, what are you doing for me? Spiritual master is noting what you are doing for me. You are not a free man anymore. You are spiritually connected to Krishna through a spiritual master. That is real freedom. Here, you got illusory freedom. Hey, I am nobody's. I am free. But in reality, all your experiences are bonded, forced experiences. So here we feel a sense of false freedom. I am independent. There we really feel free. When we surrender to Krishna, we really feel free. Constitution, freedom we experience in devotional service. In the beginning, it appears like restrictions, like coming for sadhana, all these things look like restriction in the beginning. That is because mind-body system is not that purified. When it gets purified, then there is no resistance. Very happily, very naturally, what appears to be, just like you give up tea and coffee and all these things, outside people are thinking how you are, what you are living here. You don't see movies. What is your life? What is your life? They cannot think what is your life. But are we suffering? Is the devotees in the ashram constantly thinking, I'm missing movies. Nobody is thinking. Because the soul is tasting higher things. Their soul is not tasting higher things. So they are thinking that if I don't get this, how will I live? He doesn't understand. If you don't get this, you are thinking if you don't get this, I cannot survive, because you are misidentified with who you are. First you misidentify whom you are, and then you want those things. But we are thinking we are servant of Krishna, our business is different, our life goal is different, so we don't find interest in all those things. Any questions? जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय.